Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So here I am back again with a new Parashat Vayikra. We start the book of Leviticus, and if you are like me, then I'm sure you had difficulties to understand all what is going on in this book. And it seems to be amazing, but in Judaism, children from the age of 5 are trained first to read the book of Vayikra, Leviticus. Seems strange, but it is so, and it is a reason given that the children are pure, like the animals for sacrifice are pure. So let what is pure be to what is pure. So the animals are, don't forget, kosher. All the animals which are offered to Elohim are kosher. So like a child in this youth is also pure. So now, that said, I want to try to give you some hint to understand why we study the book of Vayikra, Leviticus. In the beginning, when I entered the Torah with the Shabbat and reading the Parashut, I had a lot of difficulty to understand why we study for once what we saw in the book of the book of Shemot, and what we see with the tabernacle, and in the book of Vayikra, Leviticus, with the offering, the korbanot. I will come back to the word korbanot. It was difficult because I didn't have any clue, I didn't have any understanding, and I was not able to see the relation between the teaching of the disciples and the Torah. And this is why we need to understand that there is a need for us. We need to understand what is the meaning of the learning of all these offering, all these sacrifices. What is the reason for that? But for that, we need also to understand how we are built. And if we understand that, we will see the connection later with the sacrifices of the different animals and the parts of the animals, the organs of the animals, all this complex process which has its purpose very clear and explained in the Brit Hadashah by Yeshua, by the apostle, by Shaul, that we understand. And if we understand, we will be able to progress in our work. If we don't understand, we might stay in a position that is not the will of Elohim. So much. So we have to understand what we have in us. When we speak about the soul, everyone speaks about the soul, but we don't know how the soul is built, and all is in the Torah. It is explained in the Torah, so we don't have to be surprised. So the soul, we, like animals, have an animal soul, which is called nefesh behemit in Hebrew, and which is called in Greek the ego, that my ego, me, I. And this is very interesting because if we observe people, and we have a little clue about the nefesh, we will understand where is the position of the person, or our position, when we are confronted with situation and I don't like that, it's not good, or what is doing to me, and so on and so on. And we don't know that Elohim is speaking to us. So I will not go into details now, because I want to go back to the sacrifice. First of all, the word sacrifice is not the right word which we use. More an offering the sacrifice, and even offering do not bring exactly what is the meaning in Hebrew. If you read in Hebrew, you will see the word korban or korbanot in plural. A korban comes from the word keref, which means to come near, to draw near. So this is the purpose of this offering, is to come closer to our Creator. In the book, in this parasha, you will see that you will not find the word Elohim. You will find the word Yod He Vav He, but not the word Elohim. And there is a reason for that. When we study in the biblical Kabbalah, and I say again, biblical Kabbalah, we will see that there is a difference between Elohim and Yod He Vav He. If we look in the unchanging laws of nature, which are from Elohim, you go back to the book of Bereshit, and you will see that until we come to the creation of Adam, we only see the word Elohim. It is only in chapter 2 that when we see the creation of Adam, we see the word Yehovah, or the Yod He Vav He. So this is very important to understand, because the law of nature are unchangeable and are under the control of Elohim. Elohim represents the side of strictness and judgment, something which is not movable, immovable. The side of Yod He Vav He represents the side of Chesed, mercy and grace. And this is why when we look in the book of Vayikra, especially in this parasha, excuse me, we see the word Yod He Vav He and not Elohim, because the purpose of this korbanot is to bring us near to Elohim. But how? What is the relationship between this korbanot and the coming near to the Creator? So our nefesh is built on different levels. We have the lower levels of our nefesh is what I spoke, the animal soul, which every animal has. The cat, the lion, the dog, whatever you want, they have an animal soul which is perfect. The animal will not go out of his frame. A cat remains a cat. He cannot become a dog. A dog cannot become a lion, and so on and so on. This is very important to understand. But we have more than that. We have the animal soul, we have the ruach, animals have also ruach, and we have the neshama. The neshama is the divine part in us, which the animals do not have. Which the animals do not have. We have the neshama, and the neshama is the true self, the true me, the true light of Elohim in us. It is part of us, and it is what we have to work out. When we say, when Shaul says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling, it is simply saying you have to restore your neshama. You have to process in life to restore what was broken by our life, our education, our birth, and so on and so on. This means we have developed a system of thinking. We have created our own reality in life by using the I, me, and so on. I deserve that, I want that, I think that it is that, I am right, you are wrong, me, I know better, and so on and so on. We have created our own reality, which is not the reality that Elohim wants us to get, which is in us. The pure light is in us. But through different ways, education, family, friends, and so on, we have developed a world around us which seems to be real, but it is our own reality. So we need to go, and now through the spirit of Elohim in us to transform this animal soul into the pure soul which is represented to us in Yeshua. Yeshua, if you read in Romans chapter 8, it is written that we have to become in the image of Yeshua. We have to become in his image. So how do I do that? But this is the book of Vayikra. Excuse me, I have a running nose. So, excuse me. The book of Vayikra is there, the offering, the korbanot were there to make the one who bring the korban aware that this animal take his place. Take his place. This one Yeshua will later do for us. He took our place. We deserve death. We don't deserve anything. We deserve death. But Yeshua, because Yod He loved the world so much that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. The purpose of Elohim to bring Yeshua in our life is to give us eternal life. And he has a condition, because if we refuse to go the way, we will face death, we will face destruction. So it is here the purpose to learn in the Torah how I transform this animal nature, the nefesh behemit, into a divine nature, which is my neshama, the neshama that I have already in me by birth. I receive the neshama, the breath of life from the Creator, and I have to become like Yeshua. And the goal ultime, the ultimate goal in our life, in all of us, is to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. I cannot love my neighbor if I don't love myself. And for that, I will have to undergo the transformation in my own soul, in my own nefesh. So I will have to crucify the flesh and all its desire, all the fleshly desire, which Shaul explained in different places. And the fight is there. This is a real fight. Okay, we read in the book of Romans chapter 8. You have to read for yourself. You will see that Shaul explained. I will try to go there because I want to show you what is the fight we have to face. If you go to Romans chapter 8, we read. He says, first of all, he starts in the first verse. Let me give the. He said, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Mashiach Yeshua. First of all, we should understand what does it mean to be Mashiach Yeshua. It is to live like he lived. This means he kept the Shabbat, he didn't eat food which is not in the Torah, and so on and so on. For the Torah of the Spirit of life in Mashiach Yeshua has set you free from the law of sin and death. Sin is a rebellion against the Torah. When I do what is not permitted in the Torah, I am in sin. Now, he goes on, you have to read, and he says here, I will go, so, let's see, so, let me see. He says, for I consider the suffering of this present time not worthy to be compared with the coming glory to be revealed to us. For the creation eagerly await the revelation of the sons of Elohim. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because the one who subjected in hope. We see that even the creation is under the challenge of the Creator. Now, here we have the fight. Okay, so, look. He said in the chapter 7, for we know that the Torah is spiritual, but I am of the flesh, sold to sin. The flesh is sold to sin. For I do not understand what I am doing. For what I do not want, this I practice, but what I hate, this I do. Here Charles is speaking of the duality in every one of us. The carnal flesh, the animal flesh, and the spiritual, which is in us, the neshama. He said, but if I do what I do not want to do, then I agree with the Torah that it is good, because the Torah condemns the animal flesh. We see the animal will come and we serve the substitute for the person who sinned. So now it is no longer I doing it, but sin dwelling in me. For I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is in my flesh. Oh, that is in my flesh. The nefesh behemith, the carnal animal, for to will is present in me, but to do the good is not. This is the conflict we have between the desire we have in our inner being and the reality which is in the flesh. For the good that I want, I do not do, but the evil that I do not want, this I practice. But if I do what I do not want, it is no longer I doing it, but sin that dwells in me. So I found the principle that evil is present in me, the one who wants to do good. For I delight in the Torah of Elohim with respect to the inner man, but I see a different law in my body parts, battling against the law of my mind, and bringing me into the bondage under the law of sin, which is in my body parts. Miserable man that I am, who will rescue me from this body of death. Thanks be to Elohim, it is through Mashiach Yeshua, our Adon. So then, with my mind, I myself serve the Torah of Elohim, but with my flesh, I serve the law of sin. So, now what does Charles want to say? Charles was well trained in the Torah. He was learned at the feet of Gamaliel. He was a Pharisee. He knew perfectly the Torah. And when, excuse me, when he was now, when he had this encounter with Yeshua in the vision, he was transformed and understood spiritually what the Torah is pointing to us. Excuse me. The Torah wants to show us something that we can only see in the spiritual level. We do not study the law of sacrifices only to know the sacrifice. We have to understand there is a substitute for us, and all these sacrifices are pointing to the what we have to destroy in our life. The animals killing is representing we need to kill this animal soul in us. This means I have to bring the ego in me, the I, and the me to naught. It must be destroyed in order that the true self take place in me. I will not die physically, but I will be transformed by the renewing of my mind. That is what Charles said in Romans chapter 12, verse 2. So if I understand that, I will take diligence to learn what does it represent. All this offering, all this korbanot, and why I have to do, offer, to remove the fat on the liver and on the kidney, why I have to separate this, why I have to cut the throat, and so on and so on. Why we don't eat the blood, and so on and so on. All this is very important to understand, because if I don't understand that, I will not be able to work out my own salvation perfectly as it is required by the Torah. So I encourage you to read in the way to understand. First of all, we all of us know we cannot eat the blood of animals. So if I go here in the book of Acts and I go that everyone knows in the book of Acts 15, it is a requirement given in the verse 20 for every newcomers in the Torah. What does he say? He said, it seemed good to the emissaries and with the all community, verse 20. It is now Yaakov, James speaking. Therefore I judge not to trouble those from among the Goyim, from among the nation who are turning to Elohim, but to write to them to abstain from the contamination of idols, from sexual immorality, from what is strangled, and from blood. That is the first steps. For Moshe from ancient generation at in every city, those who proclaiming, since he is read in all the assembly, the synagogues, every Shabbat. You see, nothing new under the sun. Every Shabbat, the Torah, the parashot are read in the assembly. This is what we should do. And pray to Elohim for revelation knowledge, to understand what is in this parasha, what teach me about myself, how I will be transformed by the learning of the Torah. So this was in the practice in the first century. It should be a practice today in the 21st century, to know that we need to be transformed, that we know that when we learn about the Korbanot, we need to be the one to offer our life as a living offering, as Shaul said in the book of Romans chapter 12, we read, I urge you, therefore, brothers and sisters, by the mercy of Elohim, to present your body as a living sacrifice, kadosh, set apart, holy, acceptable to Elohim, which is your spiritual service. Do not be conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may discern that is the will of Elohim, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Here we understand that Shaul transferred the physical, the literal to the spiritual. We become a living offering. How do I become a living offering? Yes, that is the question which is answered in the book of Vayikra, which deal with the animal sacrifices. We have to understand that animals represent ourselves. They are our substitute in the time of Moshe. Today we have a higher sacrifice, a higher korbanot, which is Yeshua, our Adon, who gave his life for us. So when I study that, all the part of the animals, all the process represents what we have to do in our life. So I will give some few examples for you that you may understand. He speaks about the liver and the kidney. The liver and the kidney. So the liver and the kidney represent in the animal nefesh, the animal soul. The kidney are the center of our emotion and decision. The liver represent all what is the desire we have. The liver is an organ which filters the blood. And when we see we have a commandment here in this parasha to remove the fat which is upon the liver and upon the kidney. The fat represent all what is connected to laziness, not to do the work. And here the liver represent what is all negative in anger and the anger and the rebellion against Elohim. So we need to here we see that you see the I will take the you see, look. Yes, we see. Speak to Vayikra chapter 1 verse 2. Speak to Bnei Israel, tell them, when any one of you bring a korban to Adonai, you may present your offering of livestock from the herd or from the flock. If there is a korban is a burnt offering from the head, is to present a male without blemish, is to offer it at the entrance of the tent meeting, so that they may be accepted before Adonai. He is to lay his hand on the head of the burnt offering, so that it will be accepted for him to make atonement on his behalf. He asks here to lay the hands on the animal the person will bring in order to be accepted. We see here a transfer from what is in the man upon the head, which is a center on the throat, to the animal. And he said, in order that he will be accepted for him to make atonement on his behalf. At this time, the true covenant was not revealed. The true covenant was not revealed until Yeshua came. We have this offering because we have here the tabernacle. Later we will have the the temple, which will be the same process, and all pointed to the ultimate korban, which is Yeshua. So you see here, he has to lay his hand on the head of the burnt offering, so that it will be accepted for him to make atonement on his behalf. He is to slaughter the bull before Adonai. Then Aaron's son, the Kohanim, are to present the blood and splash it around on the altar that is at the entrance of the tent of meeting. So the animal will be killed. This means the animal nature will be destroyed. This is what we have to do in our own life. When Shaul said in Romans 12, when he said to present ourselves as a living offering, this means we need to work on our life to destroy it. We don't look at our neighbor, we don't look at this person or the other person. We have to deal with our own flesh, not with the flesh from others, not what they are doing or not, but this is our ego bring us, if we are led by the ego, it will bring us to blame others. Always, this one or this one does something against me. No. My friends, we are doing wrong if we think that we will deal with others. Elohim will deal with them. We deal with ourselves, with the leadership of the Ruach in us. Mashiach in you, the hope of glory. So this is, if we listen to the small voice in us, we will have to deal with our own personality in order to bring it to the image of Yeshua. That is the purpose of the learning in the offering, in the book of Vayikra. This animal, he said here that we have to bring everything. He said here, Aaron's son, the Kohanim, should arrange the piece, the head, and the fat upon the wood that is on the fire, which is atop the altar. But its inner and its legs is to wash with water. The Kohen shall burn it up as a smoke on the altar for a burnt offering, as an olah, which is a korban, made by fire, a soothing aroma to Adonai. You see that the burning was a soothing aroma to Adonai. You see the burning, what's mean burning? The burning is to annihilate, to remain anything. And this is what we have to do in our life. We have to come this offering which annihilate all the desire that we have in our flesh. The lust of the flesh, the temptation, the character. We have to deal with our middos to bring that to the obedience of Mashiach Yeshua. When I am angry, and angry is a negative reaction, I have to bring that in a positive way. We are led in our inner being with two forces. We have the evil inclination, which is called the Yetzer Hara, and the good inclination, which is the Yetzer Tov. And when we are out of balance, it is the Yetzer Hara who dominate our flesh. And we see that it becomes a problem. How do we know that? If we look in the Torah, if we go to the book of Bereshit, in the 2nd chapter, Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh told Adam, from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall not eat. This is the first sin. If I eat something which is forbidden, and what happened, we know that Chava took of it and gave to Adam, who eat also, and we know the consequences. They die spiritually, they die. Now, it's the same for us. For us, if we violate the Torah, we die spiritually, and we need to be restored. Thanks be to Yeshua, who died for us, that we can go through the process of tshuva, repentance, and be restored unto Elohim. This is very important to understand, that we are in a process of transformation. And this process will come to an end when Mashiach comes back. Because when Mashiach comes back, we will transform in his image. We will come in a higher level of spirituality and understanding. Until now, we are all of us, fighting between the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Tov, the evil inclination, which is the ego, a Greek word, which means the I, the self, the animal self, not the true self, the animal self. And if I am led by my animal flesh, I cannot do the will of Elohim. Roman, I think it's chapter 8 again, we can read that. It's very fascinating to understand what Shaul said, a man who was really trained spiritually to explain the things that many others do not see. He said here, so for what was impossible for the Torah, since it was weakened on account of the flesh, the animal soul, Elohim was done, sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and as a sin korban offering, he condemned sin in the flesh, so that the requirement of the Torah might be fulfilled in us, who do not work according to the flesh, but according to the Ruach. What does it mean? According to the Ruach. What does it mean? If I am led by the Ruach, my true self, the Neshama, will bring the light from above, the light which comes from the Creator, down to the earth, and I will do the will of my Creator, for which I have been created. That is the purpose, my brothers and sisters, here in life. We have to transform the animal soul into the spiritual soul, in order that the light of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh may shine. Until we understand that, we will be not able to do it. So this is why we study the Torah. And he said that here, for those, 8:5, for those who live according to the flesh, this means the animal soul, set their minds on the things of the flesh. But those who live according to the Ruach, set their mind on the things of the Ruach. You see, we have the animal soul and the spiritual soul. We have the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, and the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination. For the mindset of the flesh is death, but the mindset of the Ruach is life and shalom. For the mindset of the flesh is hostile toward Elohim, or it does not submit to itself to the law of Elohim, for it cannot. So those who are in the flesh cannot please Elohim. This is why we see today the flesh going down the river, because human beings without the Ruach of Elohim cannot serve Elohim. They serve the self, the ego. This is why, do not be surprised when you see from people from the world, governments going down the opposite of Elohim, because they serve their own ego. They serve their own ego. They cannot, it said they cannot serve Elohim because they have no renewal in their inner parts. They have no renewal. This is why the book of Vayikra, when we study it, help us to understand in the process, all this process, help us to understand what is going on in our life. If we go, I will try to find it, and I'm not sure, but I will look here. Okay. Yes, let me see. Let me give me. I think it's. I'm not sure. I will try. I will see. Here, another place. I want to show you something which is I find it very interesting. So, I will go here in the book of Jeremiah. Yes, it is in Jeremiah 17. We read here in Jeremiah 17:10. I, Yodhe Vavhe, I, Adonai, search the heart, try the reins, even to give every man according to his way, according to the fruit of his doing. Here, what does he say? Yirmiyahu explains the heart and the rein are the inward parts of every human being in the level of the animal soul, which reveal what a man is. The rein is the center of the emotion and the decision, and the heart is the seat of our thoughts. This is very important. And he said here, I Yodhe, search the heart, try the reins. This is exactly according to the book of Vayikra, where we learn the process of the offering, the korbanot. Here, you see, I will take the korban of the shalom offering. He say here, if his oblation be a korban of peace offering, if he offer of the hair, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before Jehovah. You see now the dimension without blemish is a new dimension which reflect our personality, our offering when we present ourselves as a living offering. He said without blemish. This means we cannot trick Elohim with our appearance or without a fake offering that we present ourselves. He shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron's sons, the priest, shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. Here he said, first of all, the one who brings this offering, this shalom offering, shall lay his hand, he will transfer his own personality, his own desire unto the animals, with a substitute for himself. Yes, he bring it, and he said, the Aaron's son, who are the Kohen, shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. You see, the blood, it is a command in the Torah, we shall not eat blood. And he said, why? Give the reason. Because life is in the blood. The life, it is a nefesh. The animal nefesh is in the blood. Elohim give to the people, the animals, but he doesn't give the soul. The soul is in the blood. And it is an offering, it is sprinkled the blood upon the altar round about. And he shall offer the korban of peace offering, and offering made by fire unto Jehovah. He is the fat that covers the inward, and all the fat that is upon the inward. And the two kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidney he shall take away. And Aaron's son shall burn it on the altar upon the burnt offering which is upon the wood that is on the fire, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Jehovah. And it is this offering for a korban of shalom, offering unto Jehovah, be of the flock, male or female, shall offer it without blemish. You see here, we have the process. We see that it is about the fat on the kidney, on the liver, because the fat represent our nature, the laziness of the nature of man, And as I've said before, the kidney and the liver have two functions which represent our animal nature. So, my brother and sister, it is very important to understand that the will of Elohim for every one of us is to become in the image of Yeshua, who was called the Lamb of Elohim. Lamb of Elohim. The nature of the lamb is opposite of the one of the bull. The bull represents the strength, the power, the rebellion, and the lamb is the one who subdues to the will of Elohim. Yeshua subdued himself to the will of the Father. He came to do the will of the one who sent him. And we need to fight against our carnal nature, not the carnal nature of others, of my brother in assembly, in my brother among the believer, among the brother in the internet, in the Facebook or whatever. We need to subdue our own flesh in order to love one another, in order to love our neighbors as ourselves. So this is the purpose we read the book of Vayikra, to learn, because we come from a Greek mindset. We come from, most of us, we come from the nation, from the Goyim, and we are now coming into the obedience through Yeshua, who bring us to learn the Torah, in order to be transformed and to be the people of Elohim. We all are called to become like Yeshua. Do not forget that. You can read that in the book of Romans, and you will see what it is written. Let me go there, and I will show you. Let me see. Okay. Okay. No, but we don't make him fall. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Okay. So he says here in chapter 8 for the book of Romans, he says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love Elohim, to them who are called according to his purpose. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. You see, that is the purpose of your call, of my call, of the call of everyone who is called, to be conformed to the image of his Son. And Yohanan will go further when he say, we don't know what will be, but when we will see him, we will see him as he is, and we will be transformed in his likeness. Because the last hindrance is our flesh. And when Mashiach come back, the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, will be subdued. There will be no more. We will be like Yeshua. If you study the life of Yeshua in the Brit Hadashah, then you will see the beauty of the one who has submit his will to the will of the Father. And this is what we have to do. And it is a fight. It is very hard, because our carnal nature tries to justify ourselves. It's not my fault, it is his fault, it is her fault, it is not me, it is him, it is her, it is a leader, it is an assembly, it is that, and it is that. No, it is me alone, who need to submit my will to the will of Yeshua in me. And if I understand that, then I will be transformed. Then the light of Mashiach will shine through me. And if somebody comes and attack me, I know it's not the man who attacked me, it is a carnal nature. It is not me. And so I will be able to react in the right way, in the right purpose. So my brothers and sisters, I hope this help you to think about, to ponder about what is this, all this korbanot, all this offering that point to our own carnal nature and needs to be subdued to the Ruach of Mashiach in order to become more and more in the image of our Adon Yeshua. Wow, that is beautiful to know and to be transformed in the inner man, to love one another with a sincere heart, knowing that we are called to glorify the Master of the universe, the Creator of everything, and to please Him in our daily life. So I say now, Shalom for now. I wish you a blessed week, and we meet once again in the next parasha. So be blessed. Shalom for now, and bye-bye.